Hi, I am glad you went so far. Now I am going to show you how to draw female relaxed standing pose using our standard framework. Before, we were using our framework for drawing figure standing upright. In this case, simple framework was appropriate to the task. But we can adjust this framework for more complicated pose. It will be standing pose when all the weight falls on one leg. Our leg is relaxed and bended in knee joint. The vertebral column is bended aside, hip line is tilted to one side, and shoulder line is tilted to another. In side view, we use the vertical body balance line to build all the shapes around it. Balance line we did draw from the jugular notch to the middle point between the feet. This time again we'll be using this line. Difference is in position of the bottom point. It will be placed in foot of weight supporting leg. Top point as before is placed in the jugular notch. Again we'll divide height of the figure into 3 equal parts, and this time level of shoulders and middle line of the hip circle are very important. Position of all the body parts depends on them. Angle of hip line gives direction to knee line, angle of shoulder line gives direction to elbow line and wrist line. So let's try to draw it. For beginning, as we did before, we divide place for our figure into 3 equal parts with horizontal lines marking height. Then we draw vertical balance line. Upper and middle thirds we divide with horizontal lines into halves, marking level of shoulders and bottom level of hip circle. Then we draw hip circle and mark the middle of it with horizontal line. Now we draw tilted diameter in hip circle, and from center of the circle we draw smooth curve of spine to the shoulder level. This curve is perpendicular to diameter line in place where it starts. When we draw tilted line of shoulders perpendicular to spine line in place where they cross each other. We mark width of shoulders equal to width of hip circle, and from sides of shoulders we draw reversed arc of chest cage perpendicular to shoulder line. Its height is equal to distance from shoulders to hip circle, but it doesn't touch hip circle because it directed aside. Let's add middle line for neck and head. In height, it is equal to distance from shoulders to the top, but again it doesn't reach top line because it directed aside. We add skull, circle and lower jaw. And now we draw weight supporting leg. Outer contour begins from tilted hip line. We draw long, smooth curve to the crossing of bottom line with body balance line. Line of leg is slightly bended inside in upper part of lower third on knee level. From bottom side of the circle, we draw inner contour of the leg. Under bottom line, we draw the foot, balance line crossed in the middle. On the level of knee, we draw tilted line in the same direction as tilted hip line to find out position of other knee. And now from tilted hip line we draw bended leg. Knee of this leg is lower, but foot begins higher because its heel is lifted up. Thigh of this leg covers a little thigh of weight supporting leg. Let's correct lines of legs and add shadows under kneecaps. Side lines of the belly we draw with smooth curves, keeping equal distance from spine line. Through the top and bottom points of hip circle, we draw tilted lines in the same direction as tilted shoulder line to find out position of elbow line and wrist line. When we draw contour of the arms with long smooth curves, on the elbow level the arms are little thicker. Hands we draw from thumbs, they are closer to inner part of wrist. Outer line of hand goes around thumb, bending in joints. We add side lines of the neck, and now is time to add some details. Let's draw the breasts in the middle of chest cage, ears, eyes in the middle of head, nose, mouth, hair. And now our sketch is ready. One additional point. When bended leg is directed aside, knees of both legs are about on the same level. In next video, we'll consider difference between female and male figure. See you soon. Bye bye.